Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another week of GunPla and Chill. A little bit of a different time here, I know, and sorry, no prior announcement really to go out with it. I kind of terrible in that for it. And yes, Eva Mikey, you did make it. Glad to see you out here for it. So, we got some fun stuff. I've already got some stuff pulling out here, and I'm actually in the paint shop tonight, specifically to kind of help out with what we got going on here. And you can see that this is our kind of what we're going for. This is the underneath of the shield. This piece is actually going to be covered up, so we're only going to see that. And then as well, we got some metal painted up here. I've actually decided on a color finally. Heyo. For our build here. So got it masked off to get this first one displayed out. So we're going to show you first how to do that, and then here's the other piece to kind of mimic it. So this goes on top of here as well. So once again, it's gonna cover up a lot of stuff in the first place. So it's gonna cover up a lot of that there specifically. So a lot of smoke and mirrors going on there to make our nice big tail for this, which actually would be cool because we can actually attach the tail and the other pieces that go here as well. So that's its final paint right there. And so first off, to show you how we did that, I have its other half already set to go for it. So I am using these to go ahead and get started. These are actually just cotton swabs for makeup applicators, and they're super low cost. They only come with 80 in comparison to like a big box of like normal cotton swabs. So you can pick these up at any cosmetic store, or better yet, any big box retailer in the first place. They have a fine tip on one side and then a flat brush on the other side, which makes it perfect for what we're doing here today, which is some reverse washing. So this is our end result that we're looking to get specifically, and we're going to take off all that tape here tonight too and look at it against all its other pieces. And then the flip side as well, we got some right there too. So without any further ado, let's get into it. We got a lot of pieces to finish up for that. For this, and we also have a lot of hand painting to do as well for this section. So my goal here is to get the shields done and knocked out of the way so you can see them. Big start off here is to make sure that we're able to brush right away here, and also we want to make sure that we have our thinner close by as well. Our thinner is going to be important because this is gonna require like immediate removal after the application. So I'm not going to paint all at once, just using a normal airbrush here. I decided to go with the color here is the gunmetal from Tamiya. Excuse me, not Tamiya, my apologies. Vallejo from the Mecha series. Finally finished the bottle. Heyo, again. So jump right in here and get these painted up for us. Let's check it out. That's it for that. I've already got a little bit of paint thinner on here, so I'm just going to go ahead and scrape, and you'll see that it is, once again, washes away real easily. No particular reason why I'm using the pointed side right now. It's just what I felt like using at this moment. Now granted, right here this is a pretty tight edge, so I would recommend having your point for that section. Don't have to worry about that. That's all going to be covered up by that part we looked at a little bit earlier. Important to note that this does get covered up with paint, and that will just smear it. So you do want to rotate it around, spin around, make sure you're going with a non-paint covered area. This tip might not do so hot in this area right now because I got a lot of paint in it already. Probably have to swap out. Just literally just putting barely on, just enough to get that cotton swab wet. Too much, it will drip and bleed into that paint area that we just finished up. And there we are. Cleaned up all around. Hey, Eva Mikey, awesome to hear that you had your own stream. If you're doing it on Twitch, let me know. Drop in, I imagine your handle is the same as your username here. So if it's not, drop it in here in the chat. I'd love to check out your stream as well to see what's going on. Love to see your own work. Now, if you're wondering if I'm painting directly on the plastic, the answer to that is no. I've actually top coated this area specifically. By accident, I wanted to show you the whole process from start to finish. And we still will, but this one I specifically top coated at first. And that top coat is going to allow us to not harm or get stuck in any grooves of the plastic or anything at all. So it helps to, once again, just make those nice clean lines that we have here. So that's what we're looking at in general. Let me put that camera down just a little bit more. And sorry, autofocus is being silly. I was going to try it for us tonight, but it's still as finicky as ever. There we go. Looking sharp now. Hey Evo Mikey, that's awesome to hear. So yeah, did it on Twitch, ended up being a full screen lol. And built a quick HG, nothing fancy. Alright. So did you go from start to finish there? Did you do it as fast as you could? Speed build style? And I'm sorry I haven't held true to opening up a speed build stream yet. I'm still working on finding that right time for it. But I definitely think it's like this Saturday, if we're all good, grab a Gundam kit, preferably something all white or close to all white. That way it can be nice and easy to finish up. One more side of this to paint, and then we are going to go to the non-masking mix. We go into the hand painting stuff from there on afterwards. Let that settle on its own here, dry up a little bit without harming it, and we're going to come back, look at this in a little bit more detail later. But for now, this guy is, you can kind of see it, it's like really shiny still. So it being really shiny, we need to actually make it so that it can actually grab some paint. So without priming this, how do you make your piece so that it can grab some paint? Well, the answer is top coat. This is just going to be a satin top coat on top of that piece. And so we are going to, I got to clean out my brush first, so it's got a lot of that gunmetal color in the first place. So give me a moment to be right back. We're going to show you how to do the top coat, the gunmetal there afterwards, and then finish up the, once again, doing that piece here to make it look nice and solid. So give me just a second here, gonna have to step away just for a moment as well, so we'll be right back. Yep. I just love to talk about nothing. That way nobody can argue with me. Yeah, that's the best thing. That's the best sounds to make is, you know, a nothing piece there. Anyway, looking at our piece here, it's shiny as well. The paint won't grab to it really easily. It will grab, it's possible. But the big thing you want to do with any top coat is make sure that you're wiping away any dust or debris as well to make it so that it's nice and clean and that nothing's stuck underneath it. Granted, this top coat by Vallejo is kind of softer, so what I mean by that is that it allows it, kind of like you can scrape some things off if you have to, but you want to try not to. And then of course additionally you want to make sure your brush is really clean too. I do not thin this varnish at all. I just go straight with it, especially because it leaves a nice thick coat at this point as well, which we want because that way it'll stick a little bit better as well. So we're just going to do this piece, we're just going to do the whole thing. And that's it. It's varnished. Now granted we do want to let it sit a little bit before we start painting, because if not it'll pull it off there too. This one I'm going to do the whole thing here too, just because I have no real qualm about it, especially because it's a connecting piece, but this is the area that we really need to focus on because that's what needs to be hand painted. There's too much close proximity to tape it off, and then there's also too much things going on there to try to spray it over as well. So we're going to hand paint it. There we go. That one's finished up. And then last but not least, alrighty. And I'm gonna check one more. I don't think I brushed this one yet. Yeah, I didn't brush this one, but you can see maybe a little bit of debris right there. I'm actually just gonna wipe it off my hands. And then I'm not gonna spray this whole thing though, for a good reason. Because there's a lot of pieces here, and I'm gonna spray the whole thing eventually as well, top coat. And you can top coat as many times as you want, and actually even do different styles of top coat. Just if you're gonna do gloss, you can add a start and finish with gloss. But everything else though, you can use on top of each other. Anyway, I'm only gonna do right here, and then at the tip. That's gonna be gunmetal too. And I got some gunmetal shooting out of here. Yep, some speckles of gunmetal. You can see it right there. It should be relatively okay because we're gonna paint with that color. But clearly, guys, I should have done a better job painting. Alright, that's it. We're gonna leave it just like that. Actually, a little bit right there. And so, we're gonna put a pause on the airbrushing though. Here's one that's already been top coated as well. And we're gonna pull out our brushes. For this, I'm actually going to pull out one of my newer brushes. Really good brush from Atlas specifically. It's got a nice fine point, which is going to be great for getting right up here in these edges specifically, just like that. But I'm also going to have a secondary piece as well with this one. This is one of my hair brushes to help out with the middle parts. I'm going to see if I got anything left in this tube. Oh, look at that. Got some bubbles. Bubble, bubble, bubble. But that looks like it's really it. If you do have bubbles like this, just give them a blow. And they'll go right away. Not thinning it here either as well. We're just going to go straight on with the paint. Getting my edges first. Letting my brush do the work. Here specifically. What I mean by that is getting it close to the edge and then letting the edge be pushed. Letting the brush be pushed by the edge itself. And we get some pretty crisp lines that way. This is a bit bigger of a brush, so it's going to allow for some spreading right here in the middle. Now there is one more reason why I didn't thin this paint out, and that's because I thinned it in the bottle specifically. As it was getting to its dying breath, shall we say, I thinned it out in the bottle so I could stretch it out just a little bit more. So I knew I wouldn't need thinning once I put it out here. I'm definitely going to need a second coat here, so I'm just going to leave that be. Clean off my brush just a little bit here. And then go to the other side. This other brush just grabs so much paint and holds it for so long as well. That's why these hairbrushes are really, really good. They just hold the paint so well in it. For granted, I personally find that for the edge pieces, I like my synthetic material here. So this is the Atlas one is synthetic hair, so it actually, once again, it spreads it pretty evenly. It's a smaller coat, but it's still really good for what it is for. I tried spraying this area on the Phoenix, and it's weirdly difficult because it's got a little bit of a lip right there, and it makes it difficult to get it smooth. But with the brush, it's just easy. You just have to, once again, go at it for some time. Now I don't have to brush underneath this. I am going to brush a little bit on the edges though, just in case of any lift on the part itself. So nothing too crazy here. it's like, hey, why don't we just paint the whole thing? Well, no point in it getting streaky, and plus I didn't top coat that area. So that's kind of what the look that we're going to go with, and that sits on there just like that. And it looks pretty dope. Now we got some streaks right here. That's going to be okay. We're going to do one more coat as well, and that's going to help get rid of them. Now instead of using this one for the that portion, I'm actually going to use that thinner brush because, or it's going to be the artificial hairbrush. So then that way I can very focus with my painting at that point. And so the same thing is actually going to apply here. So this is a rounded piece, and it also the plastic kind of lips over here. So that's why I'm hand brushing this too versus spraying it. And I'm going to use the big brush for the outer edges. Very controlled here. As much as I can. But just for these outer edges. Now if I do a bad job though, or you know you're doing the same thing and you're painting away, at that point, don't forget to have your thinner close by. You can erase it, but you just have to, once again, have it close by. You're using a cotton swab, like I was showing you guys a little bit earlier for our reverse washing. Same thing applies for hand painting too. Oh, sorry, I was taking that off screen. And once again, because this brush holds so much paint, I'm going to switch over to my synthetic hair one to get these grooves a little bit cleaner. Because these are grooves and this brush doesn't hold as much paint, so we're going to get more detail with it because of that. If you use that big brush, it's going to, you know, kind of fill in the gaps too much and be overbearing at that point. Which is obviously what we're not wanting to do. We're wanting to show detail still here. For this brush, if I'm feeling like the paint's getting too thick or anything, I'm just very lightly dabbing it in water and then going right back into my paint. So I'm not thinning out the paint, but I'm just giving it like a protective layer over the bristles of the brush, which then allows it to be spread really, really smoothly. There we go. Other side here. Got a little bit of touching up to do right here. This little piece on the inside is also our metal. And once again, this doesn't show on the box art or anything because this is a limited edition one. So there's very little like screenshots, wow, pictures of the actual finished kit outside of just the pieces being snapped together. So with there being little artwork, I had to go from other sources, looked at all 3 unicorn models to get the right color accuracy for them, especially because we don't see this one in the anime. Not in this form specifically. So this form is this perfectibility form. We don't see it. We see the closest thing to this is full armor. But to see all the weapons, gotta look at all 3 of them: the Phoenix, the Banshee, and just base unicorn. Alright, so we got some of our major painting done for it. I'm super stoked to go ahead and, well, I guess we need to still talk with this other stuff. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. Let's get rid of some of these streak marks here. It doesn't take long for these coats of paint to dry with this acrylic paint. It's quite awesome. And the fact that it's non-toxic, no warning labels or anything for Viejo. It's a great way to go for it. And the Mecha series is just, it's great for GunPla building. I mean, just look how smooth that paint is. Maybe even too much on the brush right now. Yep, too much on the brush. Good for this side, but not for the other side. Now we're officially going to put a pause on that one. Because we do need to go to these guys. These are the pieces that sit right up on top of here. And you can see we got a little bit of extra paint here. I'm actually, for the time being, going to prematurely tear off some of the masking tape here. And you can see why. We got some extra paint right there. We weren't too careful, but that's okay. And I see beer pills, no warning labels because they don't care. No, actually, the Viejo paint is indeed non-toxic, and it's not hard on the nostrils. Not like Tamiya. Tamiya, woo! You can tell that stuff is not good for you. Especially when I was painting the Phoenix Gundam, I was using a lot of Tamiya in general, and I definitely felt it in my lungs. I felt like I had a hard time. I want to say a hard time breathing, but definitely shortness of breath for all the things I was doing outside of it. So made sure my mask was tighter, opened up an extra door. I still had my fan on overhead, so it was just, once again, that's a crazy, it was crazy strong. Even with my mask on, I was getting some stuff. But I think it was overexposure. There's a lot to paint. Actually, I created a monster here, guys. I took off some masking, and now I want to take off the rest. I'm so dying to see and put these pieces together. So bear with me as I go at it. Especially because this next piece I can paint while it's actually on there too. So good looking. And this goes. More masking to take off. Did use two different types. This is 6mm masking tape and a 3mm masking tape. 3mm I use for like getting really close to, how to say, edges that bend. As you can see here, there's some edges that bend. You can hand brush this whole thing, but it does take quite a bit of time, as I did it for another one. Hand brush the whole thing for this, but I figured, hey, why not mask it in? Save ourselves a good bit of time, because we can always go back and fix some of these errors. Cotton swab, a little bit of paint there. And get it nice and clean. And then on the flip side, if there's any more touch-up, you just grab your brush and take your brush to do the work. So you probably have to do some touch. Yep, right there in this edge. Sad because this edge is probably not going to be seen very much at all in final display, but we know it's there, guys. And as we know it's there, we got to get rid of it. And this part right here needs to be painted in. Look at that, some of that got into the panel line. How fun. And you can actually see it's kind of spreading, because that's actually not on, that's directly on plastic. More so than the satin top coat. So it's actually spreading it a little bit. Could have angled it just a little bit here to actually see where there's extra paint smearing. And it also doesn't help that some of the adhesive is sticking too. A little bit of dragging too much right there in the middle. Alright, there we go. Now that's ready for its top piece. I wanted to make sure this was fully painted before I snapped it together because it does not like to come apart at all. And yep, something goes right there, and I totally didn't snap that in. And it's a funny thing, I brought that piece out here with me tonight too, and I just totally forgot to grab it and paint it. There's two of them. Yep, it's right here. One of these. Gotta find that other one real fast here before we move on. I also brought up the other pieces that I'm going to be painting the same color because all the metal is going to be like that. So we're going to paint the frame that color as well to make it all match up. But I wanted to show you the big stuff first. This is the stuff that really matters. This is going to be a simple just clip it, paint it, done with it. I'm going to actually kind of wait to separate that out fully just to be on the safe side. I don't want to smear too much paint everywhere. Let's go ahead and call that done. Let's call that done. You're wanting to see other parts. Let's get to the other parts. So here we go. This is just going to be straight up hand painting from the start. Definitely wasn't planning on it. There's too much going on here to want to even try to, if you ask me, to mask it. So it's way too much work to mask it versus just, hey, let's get some brushes and brush this on. There's also some hard angles here, but fortunately with some thin enough paint, those hard angles will be taken care of with no problem. And interestingly enough, the backside piece as well is painted. for a bit. Lo-fi music we got this time. It kind of feels like old school Gundam Mask, as a matter of fact. Good old piano music and stuff. And the violin hanging out. Or does it make you think more Final Fantasy? Maybe Final Fantasy after all, or a Japanese RPG of some kind. If you play those style of games, not my flavor per se, but even though I do have to say I did get Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's because the combat system is, if you ask me, much more improved. I am not a fan of turn-based. Like, turn-based to me is meant for like checkers and chess, something board game, battleship. But when I'm in an action-packed scenario, I don't feel like I need to wait for my enemy to attack. I am going to go after them. Way to break my bones there. Prince of Persia, man. Prince of Persia Warrior Within is what did that for me. Once I saw, man, this how that open combat system was, that was just absolutely awesome. And then include in the time abilities. Shout out to Ubisoft for making something pretty special in my opinion. Yeah, and I see you there. I see you there, Beard Pills. I'm right there with you. Glad to see I'm not all by myself in this. But that's also why I love me some Dark Souls. And I've actually been going and playing Dark Souls 1 for the first time. The remake, or the remastered, excuse me. But that's been a different adventure, especially because Dark Souls 3 is just so good. So good. Alright, I'm happy with them. Let's go ahead and attach these bad boys on. Oh dang! Well, I will say I'm not looking for a good mobile RPG. I mean, I have to have something while I wait in the doctor's office, or the dentist, or somewhere where you know, we have to wait. Post office. Ooh, there's a good one. Ooh, Department of Transportation of choose your variety for your state. Gotta wait there. We all know we have to. We have to wait for like forever. But I will say though, most places are getting pretty good, pretty efficient with the line of that business. Especially those, what is it, like the third-party places, make life so much better. We have a place called ABC Title here in Louisiana, and man, does it make life so much easier. Alright. So I got some few streaks here that I don't like, so I'm gonna go back. But overall, in general, I'm pretty happy with the different pieces. Except, you know, I gotta paint this one little knobby thing and put it into place. I have the other pieces inside. I didn't want to bring them out here for my painting fiascos, just in case something, you know, spilled, broke, bad things. But everything else is actually painted for this one, so this shield looking pretty solid. And beard pierce, that's amazing to hear that in Chicago it's in and out. Alright, there we go, guys. Final show around for how it looks out and how it turned out in general. So we're once again, this is a pretty big shield, and we got it finished up. So the other pieces we're just gonna have to snap into place here for the tail, and we will definitely show you the final pictures in the Discord as well. And we're gonna do a little bit of painting here with our, let's see if I got any, oh I do have some satin left, here we go. Let's get this baby clipped off and paint it up. That's it. Bam. Just like that. And I thought I had my other one in here, and I'm really kicking myself if I took it out because I was examining it and stuff, so that's all I gotta say to that. Let's go ahead, and I'm actually gonna change things up here a bit. I know we've been looking at the shield the whole time. We've got one of them done there. So I've actually top coated this just like you seen prior, and we actually need to paint just a few areas here specifically with our gunmetal piece here. And the same thing for our claw hand piece as well. We need to paint some of these elements too. They have to be hand painted. There's way too much masking work to even come close to wanting to try to touch that. So I am going to hand paint it. So is these actually like, I don't know, hinges is probably the best way, because this is actually supposed to like fold up. Granted, this high grade piece doesn't do that. It comes with a separate folded up version. As that is the case, we need a hand paint the hinge here, which won't take too long. Using my Atlas brush here, because it's all curves in the first place. So synthetic fibers. Ooh, I see we're already getting 15 minutes out. And then of course we'll finish up the second half that went off camera, so no point in seeing the same thing twice. We've already seen how to do it once. Sorry, a little bit of silence there while I'm focusing away. Now the cool thing is that with this being hand painted, like if there's any like imperfections or something like that, it kind of like plays into the fact that it's a hinge, because I'm sure you guys have seen hinges in real life that they got streaks, they got oil streaks, grease streaks from those things. So that being the case, it's alright to have those little bit of imperfections in here. Indeed, actually kind of welcome it. Imperfections make your work look even just like that much more real. Because there's imperfections all around us. And that way you don't get stressed out while you're building. Or in this case, painting. Which actually makes me wonder for like some of these pieces of art. Did Picasso mess up and then just be like, hey, you know what? That mess up looks fun. Let's do some more of it. Or for Van Gogh, maybe he was trying to do like a star, a nice crisp clean star in the sky, and he's like, you know what? That streak looks awesome. Let's continue with the streaky version of stars. Too bad we don't have enough documentaries on that, right? Let's see what these artists and people were thinking. We definitely live in such an age where all that can be fully explored. Just to make sure we're all on the same page. Vincent van Gogh, Picasso, painter. Actually, very talented artist in general. He did a lot of things, but history buff here. I like history too. Appreciate the classic works. Yeah, appreciate your imperfections in your builds and your painting process. Those make it, once again, more real. Just look around you and you'll see there's tons of just little imperfections around, so don't just live with them, embrace them. Alright, there we go. That piece is done, and you can see the hinge here is so much smaller, which is going to be so much quicker to finish up here. Now, with the design of this one, I don't know why there's actually this thing here, but I guess because the claw opens up more, and it does collapse, technically. But I don't know why they have this hinge here. Maybe it's just a match. But I don't remember it opening up like too much bigger in the anime. This piece here actually folds out to the side. It makes like this big, crazy, just like 4-prong claw at that point, but... And actually, if you haven't seen it destroy Delta Plus yet, you need to. It's pretty doggone sick. I also think I'm going to do something kind of crazy here, in that once I finish building my unicorn destroy mode, just the basic form, I'm probably going to combine elements from all three just to make a colored bash version of this Perfectibility. I think it'd be super cool looking. I guess colored bash is the right way to say it. But I will have all three unicorn Gundams with all the same weapons that the Perfectibility does. At the end of this whole process, of course. Ooh! There they are. There they are. We're going to do some of these other hand painting pieces really, really fast here too. I actually do need to hand paint this right here. Because this was, once again, too angular and too crazy to try to mask off, so I just said I will wait to hand paint it. But I airbrush everything else for it. I still don't know why they didn't make a piece that snaps onto the original. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me still. I like how these shields look at the end of it, but during their build process, they are absolutely not friendly. I'm going to use that as my words for it. Just not friendly. And since I already have this one, I'm going to go ahead and just doctor it up too. And then we'll airbrush the rest of it. But you guys, but it's been a good night of building, getting some things done, and I just can't believe I forgot that other piece upstairs. Ugh. I think I told somebody else earlier today, I got too busy doing dad stuff. Adult chores, guys. Adult chores. Too many of them sometimes. Brushes often. That way, not only will you have longevity, but they'll treat you right. Treat your brushes right, they'll treat you right. And they will keep helping you make per day pieces. All this hand painting that we've done so far has literally been from like 3 drops of paint. Like, that's it. It's been like 3 drops of paint to get all that taken care of so far. If anything, I just gotta say that's impressive. 1, to the paint itself, and 2, just not how much work there's been, but how little you actually need to make things look great. So, especially for your high grades and stuff, bring out those paintbrushes. You don't always have to have an air gun. Spend $7, get some brushes that do the job, and go out there making your guns looking awesome. I'm actually very curious, Evo Mikey. I mean, I know you got an airbrush. How's it going? How was your first airbrush kit? Have you busted it out? I know you got the ventilation system and everything for it too, so I'm pumped to see some of your work. Share it up. Sorry guys, I got in that focus mode again. Just started brushing away. Even though we are right there at time. Lots of work done tonight. The good news is that mostly we're gonna have these shields ready for you here shortly. Once again, I was looking to finish all the weapons for this first, and all the weapons include the javelin. We haven't done that one yet. The claw, the beam whip, and then these shields. I know shields aren't a weapon, but you tell that to Phoenix Gundam when it crashes the shields through the bridge of a space battleship. So yeah, the shields are weapons. If you haven't seen Narrative Gundam, go ahead and check it out. It's a super, to me, it's an awesome movie. It's probably one of my favorite Gundam movies, period. Or Gundam's. It is a movie, but its thought is pretty awesome. You get to see some really cool mobile suits in general. Phoenix Gundam being one of them. Narrative Gundam being the other. Sanaju Stein is in there. Sanaju Stein actually sold so well. And they're pretty much... I think they've done a couple reprints for it. But man, if you're trying to find a Sanaju Stein in America now, good luck. It was so popular. I was fortunate to get my hands on 2 of them. And I made one into a prototype version. So the version before it was stolen. And then I also got my hands on the version Ka Master Grade. Definitely one of my favorite kits to date. I kind of wish they had better version Kas out there. But with what we got, that's my favorite one. Oh, Evil Mike, you're gonna use it for your next stream. Good stuff. I love it. I will make sure to follow you on Twitch so that way I can get your next one as well. Alrighty guys, well I got some more work to do here. If you're wanting to stick around, you're welcome to. If you gotta go, I get it. But if not, enjoy the show. I'm gonna be a little bit more quiet here and just paint away. But leave the camera on if you want to watch. Mikey, I like that. Let's if we both stream our speed build. That should be pretty awesome. Yeah, Eva, Beard Peels, I'm aware. Yeah, I said you guys can stick around. I'm just gonna have the camera on and just build away if you guys want to watch up. Finish up these pieces that I have left to do. But yeah, if you get other things, yeah, just you guys are welcome to head on out. Leave it on just for a little bit longer. So work on finishing up these shields, just a few more things to finish up painting. So if you want to see it, stick around. If not, I totally get it. Yeah, I dropped my computer. I don't know how, but I must have pushed in the drawer that it's hanging out. It's got a pretty good linked keyboard tray, but I pushed it out while moving over. I got startled more so than anything else. But thank you for checking on me. But yeah, everything looks fine. No damage to the computer, it looks like. Polycarbonate frame for the win. Actually, I think that's what really saved it in this instance. Metal frames, when they dent like that, I think as many of us know here. I think Evo Mikey, you mentioned that you work on phones too and stuff. But yeah, those metal frames, even though as durable as they are, once they bend in, they mess things up. So I got a special place for some good polycarbonate. Sometimes it keeps things together. Good question. I think Evo Mikey is now a prime candidate for a raid. Now that he's streaming, and we're gonna do that speed build together, that's gonna be great. I gotta go get that other piece. That way I can really finish up these shields tonight. Back. I'm still gonna be working away, but I'm gonna go get some more. Get that other piece that I'm looking for real fast. Gotta go clean that brush real fast. Be right back. One more time. I know I should have done it while I was away. But I'll be right back.
Saying, you know what I'm saying? If you don't got the album, just go get that. You know what I'm saying? For your benefit.